Welcome back to the channel. This is Roberto with Full Curl Precision. Oh man, what a crazy been a very busy day. But that's okay. That's how life goes. So for tonight, actually before I've been doing in all my videos, uh help us get to 200 subs. When we do get to 200 subs, we'll be doing another giveaway of a hat, a shirt, and an ammo box. I really do appreciate the orders that have been coming in. We really appreciate the support, and we're glad that those who've gotten them are really enjoying their boxes. Um, Again, we work hard on what we do. So, going into tonight's topic is one of the things of going over the differences between factory ammunition and what you can do with a hand load. And I'm going to show you some differences. Again, my favorite program, Gordon's reloading tool. It is free. It can be downloaded on Windows or Linux. So yeah, regardless of what your system is, it works really well. It doesn't work on like smartphones, so you're gonna have to use a computer or a tablet in order for it to be usable. There's like a basic mode, and then there's like an expert mode. The expert mode is really nice. As the more I learn about it, the more I really enjoy it. So for tonight, the one we're going with in terms of the differences, again, is the 136 grain Federal Terminal Ascent. And in 270 Winchester, the claimed velocities are 3,000 feet per second with that 136 grain bullet. As I go through this and choosing different powders and everything else, again, sticking with the same 24-inch barrel that Federal uses, you might be surprised at how much faster you can push it with the right load. Let me turn the camera around and I'll show you. So, oh, by the way, again, this is 100 rounder. This is the 10 rounder. I've said it before, and it's been a while since I've had it on a video. But this is my prototype right now. Again, simple, easy to use. Inserts are, you go in and out. But yeah, just the basic 10 rounder. This is going to be really nice for being able to take some extra rounds with you in your backpack. So yeah, if you're looking to have something where you go on a road trip and you're taking like 100 rounds with you, and you want to have something you can throw in your pack after loading your rifle, this might be right up your alley. Anyway, that and the 20s. The 20s are really good. So for tonight, again, going into it, let me zoom a bit. Here it is. And we have, again, 270 Winchester. And this is my setting, by the way. 3.36. That's what my rifle likes this bullet at. 24-inch barrel, 1 in 10 twist. This is a bullet. Excuse me. This particular bullet I had to put into the computer itself. You can actually add information into it, including bullet type and such. And I have this here. So the BC is not the highest, but it's not low either. It's that of a .493, and the G7 is 0247. And I'm using Ramshot Hunter, and I'm going with 60.5 grains, and that's like pushing it at max, and that's at 65,000 PSI. So this highlighted line is where you kind of get your average, and I kind of like to use that, so it kind of gives you an idea where to play with it. But check this out. So you have a 99% load ratio. So what you've actually loaded into the case, you're almost at 100% with it. Burnt propellant, you're getting a clean burn by the time you hit that barrel length. 100%. Look at this velocity. 3157. Yeah, I rounded it up to 0.1. It's not a big deal. Oh, there he goes. It wants to shut off. Come on, come back. I didn't say you could go anywhere. But look at that. 3156.9. So 3157 compared to the factory's claim of 3,000 feet per second. That's a significant difference in this. So that brings up the question, okay, so if this is what that can do, let's play with a little bit of number. Let's go to mine too. So if I select here at the top, select this, right? Here we go. You got GRT database and then you got user database. These are cartridges that I put in. So this is my 27 IBEX. And I'm using the same bullet. I'm going to leave the seating depth. I'm going to go back to, let's see here. I'm going to go to 3.36. Okay. And we see you got a little bit slower, and that's because you have a little bit more room in it to play with numbers. So let's say we bring that up to 61. No, it's not. Okay, let's try this again. That may not be the ideal powder with that cartridge size. So that's the other thing too. Not all of these are going to be identical in how they want to shoot. So we're going to go down to the Vita Vori, and we're going to pick the N555. No, that's a little too... That might not be ideal for that. This is the one thing I like about this. This cartridge that I'm working on is mainly meant for heavier casings. You're getting a little bit faster, but not by a whole lot. And we'll see how this actually pans out when I start loading. But if everything works out as planned, you're getting a little bit faster, but not by a whole lot. And that's because, again, I'm still learning on this one. I was curious what it would do. I like to do things where I don't play with anyone's figures, but look at that, 3165. That's still screaming fast. I think it can get a lot faster than that. So we're gonna go with Vita Vori N565. We're gonna try this out. We're gonna go into 64. No, that's the wrong powder for sure. It's still a little slow on the burn. That's a little bit too light for that kind of a powder. So we're going to go to N560. That's getting a little better. $64.7. 64.6. So yeah, if you're pushing it like right at line there, and that's a little high, I wouldn't be I would never push that. 61.89 with the Vita Vori N560. Now, obviously, that's not the ideal powder for this because your overload ratio and you're not getting a complete burn. So let me try a couple others. And once I actually get to doing some proper data with my cartridge, it'll give some better, because I'm still waiting for the new tooling to come in. So, but in the meantime, I like to play with numbers. Let's try 160. Ooh, that's a little on the spicy side. This might be a better powder. Let's try 62. Definitely not it either. Let's try this. And again, this may not entirely be accurate. I don't think any of this is completely accurate as of yet. The 270 is going to be the closer accurate because there's a lot more information on it. This is definitely not going to be it either. So we're going to go to 64. Yeah, this is definitely too slow of a powder because even with as high of an amount as I've gone with 64, it's still saying under 3100, and that's not ideal at all. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's not ideal at all. So I'm thinking if I go back, In these lighter bullets, you're not going to see a tremendous difference if I go back to that and go to a normal 270. Because here's the thing, most of these cartridges, and this is what I talk about when it comes to knowing your cartridge to your bullet and matching them accordingly. So again, we're going to go over here and go 65,000. We're going to go 3.36. If we go back to we're going to go back to Ramshot Hunter. 60.5. Yeah. This for 270 is really where it's at. Anything from 150 grain down, 270 is like absolutely ideal for it when it comes to the 27 calibers. You can do a lot. Now, once you're getting like into that borderlands of 150 grain and up, cartridges like I'm working on, and then into your magnums like your WSMs, that's where it's going to take over. And here's the thing too. I'm going to go through this list real quick. This program doesn't have every powder in it, but the cool part about it is you can actually add. So if I select on this, you can actually add, see this? You can add different powders and add in the burn rates and different things like that and make modifications. So that's one of the reasons why I like this. Is it going to be perfect? No, because obviously there's always a continuous learning curve. But I'm going to tell you this. As for my rifle right now, my current rifle, being that of the 270, I'm liking that. Are you kidding me? And that's based upon sea level. So I could very feasibly be pushing this 136 grain terminal ascent at nearly 3,200 feet per second. And so what does that translate into when you're talking about something like your trajectories? Once this pulls up, here we go. Federal Ballistics app. So hand load. Go back. Let's see. Refresh this a minute. There we go. So it's going to be hand load, bullet weight, 136. BC of 0.493. Muzzle velocity 3157. Okay. Scope height, and this is based upon my rifle. 2.00. Zero range. 200 yards. We're going to do increments of 100 yards. Altitude 5,000 feet. Max range 500 with a 10 mile an hour full value wind, and we're just doing inches for simplicity right now. If we look at that, if you look at those numbers with a 136 grain bullet, if you go straight out to 400 yards right there, you're only looking at just over 15 inches of drop, only 7.9 inches of drift with a full value 10 mile an hour wind. You're still over 2,500 feet per second. You're still over 1,900 foot-pounds. At 500 yards, you're only at 31 inches of drop, 12.7 inches of drift, almost 2,400 feet per second still, and over 1,700 foot-pounds. With the bullet construction that a terminal ascent is, driving it this way, would you feel comfortable taking a shot on an elk? And let me clarify before anybody answers that. What is the bullet construction on a terminal ascent? It's very simple. The top half is a bonded lead core that's designed to expand, but only so much. And then the bottom half is a copper alloy shank solid. It won't expand at all. So you have a certain amount of wound channel expansion, and then it's designed to hold together and keep driving deep. If you had that kind of velocity where you're having over the 1,500 foot-pound mark with that kind of a flat trajectory, would you feel comfortable taking that at that kind of range on an elk? I'm going to speak for myself when I would say yes. Under ideal conditions, I absolutely would. Would I take it past this? No. But if I had ideal conditions, I'm talking like, prone on a backpack, it's flat, it's wide open, I can see everything, it's good broad daylight, there's not a 10-mile-an-hour wind. Would I take that shot on an elk? Yes. Yes, I would. Because I have no doubt with those kinds of numbers, it would do everything I would need it to do. Would I prefer it to be closer? Yes. But if I had the opportunity and it was under ideal conditions, again, follow that line of reasoning, ideal conditions, I'd have no problem in taking that shot. This is why I advocate so much for the getting into hand loading, because you can't get that with factory. That difference of over 100 feet per second, it's over 150 feet per second difference between factory and this. That's a massive difference. It's kind of like the same thing when people are telling me, "Oh, you can't get 2950 with a 150 grain nozzler bullet out of your 270." Yes, I can. Like, you should only be getting 2800. Well, then explain why I'm getting 2950. If that were really true. And I'm doing it without signs of pressure. So, yeah, I plan on doing this. I'm also going to be working with this, and I'm going to show you these two. So here it is. You get the terminal set in the back, ooh, shiny. And then these ones up here in front are the 140 grain Sierras. According to my reloading data, I should be able to push these at like 3120. Yeah, that's a really good one too, because let's pull that up real quick. If we go back, change that to 140 grain, and the BC on that is 0.508. There you go. And we're changing that to 3120. Nope. So really similar trajectories, a difference of only ½ inch at 500 yards. It's a little less drift, but it's definitely got a little more energy. Not by a whole lot, but it's got some. And it actually has basically the same type of velocities. So, yeah, I'd be really happy with either one of these bullets at that range. So, yeah, again, the question comes down to, would you use these on an elk? I know I would. But yeah, for those following, I really do appreciate all the support. We appreciate you guys putting in your orders on the website and not only taking a chance on what we produce, but also actively supporting it and reviewing it and being honest with it. We work pretty stinking hard on these to make them as good as possible. So that's all I have for tonight. Well, and we'll talk to you again.